someone like a year or two ago made a tweet that's just like, we should execute every graduate student. We will execute M last.
Yeah.
Me during the race war when I have to shoot them.
I'm Emma Denney. I sometimes go by M. I'm a composer and sound artist and a PhD candidate. The Iowa legislature has been introducing bills at the rate of more than one per day since the session started, that's sort of targeting a lot of different aspects of life as sort of trans people in specific, but also as queer people broadly in Iowa. Some of them are continuations of the sort of like education-oriented bills and like book banning, in air quotes, oriented bills, specifically looking to sort of expand what the definitions of obscene or pornographic material are and expand sort of what it means to expose someone to that material, which do the conservative thing of, if you look at it on paper and have no context for it, you're just like, well, why would that be a problem? And then you think about it for 10 seconds, you're just like, oh, this is actually just saying that any exposure to any sort of like explicit, not explicit as in pornographic, but explicit as in this is what it is about, queer or trans art, literature, media in any way can be defined as obscene and then punished, and then people can be punished for having it be available to anyone. What's more pressing for me are the bills that sort of start to limit what we can actually do in our lives, right? It adds a lot more stress and anxiety and danger to your life, right? To know that the state is empowering random people to essentially sort of like spy on you and interrogate your sex, your gender, whatever word you want to use for it. And to then sort of like empower the
Attorney General?
Attorney General, that's what I was thinking of, to just pursue people who are accused of being trans in bathrooms, right? It's pretty disgusting. And the bill that I think a bunch of us are going to Des Moines to on Wednesday, which is HF, I think it's 2082, which is Jeff Shipley's bill to take gender identity out of Iowa civil rights legislation and while at the same time defining trans people as disabled and sort of being very manipulative about saying, well, this actually provides protection because, you know, you all suffer from gender dysphoria, right? Well, actually that then creates sort of a system where the state can then question your identity and say like, oh, you say you're being discriminated against because you have gender dysphoria, prove it. It starts to essentially create a list of people who are trans, right? Which is terrifying. Continuing on the sort of basic, like, we can't even give trans kids any dignity. So not only is it like, not only do they require schools to dead name and misgender them, there's a new law that also says like it is illegal to prevent anyone from doing that. The current system, you cannot call kids by names or pronouns that are not congruent with their birth certificate without parents' permission, which essentially means if kids don't want to out themselves to their parents, which especially if they're not in supportive households, which we're in a red state, we're in a sort of pretty rough state for a lot of that, can be mortally dangerous to kids. It then sort of like forces them to be in the closet and be misgendered and be dead named, even when people are aware of that.